Ford just dropped something that nobody in the truck world expected. And honestly, even longtime F-150 fans are doing double takes right now. Because in an era where every manufacturer seems obsessed with turbocharged six-cylinders, hybrids, and EVs, Ford is reportedly bringing back something people thought was slowly disappearing forever from half-ton trucks, a real naturally aspirated V8. Not a turbo V6 pretending to sound like a V8, not some complicated hybrid setup, an actual big displacement V8. And once you hear what they're planning for the 2027 F-150, plus the rumored pricing strategy, you'll understand why truck fans everywhere are suddenly paying attention. Let's break it all down. First off, the engines, because this is the part that changes everything. Ford is reportedly developing not one, but potentially two brand new, naturally aspirated V8 options for the next generation F-150. And that alone is shocking in 2027, when the rest of the industry is moving in the complete opposite direction. The first engine is expected to be based on Ford's legendary Coyote architecture, the same foundation used in the Mustang GT. But this won't just be the current 5.0 with a tiny refresh. Rumors suggest displacement could grow somewhere between 5.8 and 6.2 liters, with output landing around 450 horsepower or more. And here's the crazy part. Development is reportedly taking inspiration directly from Ford's Mustang GT3 and GT4 racing programs. Actual motorsport engineering influencing a full-size pickup truck. That means sharper throttle response, better breathing at high RPM, and a more aggressive power band that feels alive the moment you touch the gas pedal. Because if you've driven turbocharged trucks before, you know exactly what this feels like. You hit the throttle and there's always that tiny pause, that split second where the truck thinks about responding before the boost kicks in. It's not huge, but you notice it. Naturally aspirated V8s don't do that. The response is immediate, instant, smooth, predictable. The engine reacts exactly when your foot moves, and that connection completely changes how a truck feels to drive every day. But somehow, the second engine rumor might be even bigger. The Godzilla. Ford's massive 7.3-liter Godzilla V8, currently used in Super Duty trucks, could finally make its way into the F-150 for the first time ever. And truck fans are losing their minds over it. Because the Godzilla isn't just powerful, it's simple. And in today's world, simple matters more than ever. Modern engines are incredibly advanced. Twin turbos, overhead cams, direct injection, complex timing systems, all impressive technology. But every extra system is another thing that can fail, another expensive repair, another headache once the warranty disappears. The Godzilla takes the opposite approach. Pushrod design. Cast iron block, fewer moving parts, built like an absolute tank. It was engineered to survive brutal workloads in heavy-duty trucks, commercial fleets, towing abuse, and high-mileage use. And now Ford may be putting that same engine into the truck regular people actually buy every day. Power estimates are reportedly sitting somewhere between 450 and 500 horsepower, with torque potentially climbing to around 550 pound-feet. If those numbers are accurate, this could become the most powerful naturally aspirated engine in the entire half-ton segment by a huge margin. And honestly, there's something cool about Ford looking at one of the toughest engines they've ever built and basically saying, you know what? Let's put this in the F-150. Now let's talk capability. Because all that power isn't just for bragging rights. Ford is reportedly targeting towing numbers close to 14,000 pounds. That's serious territory. Not long ago, you needed a 3/4-ton truck to comfortably handle that kind of workload. We're talking enclosed car trailers, large campers, equipment haulers, boats, work trailers, the kind of stuff the T traditionally pushed buyers into heavier, more expensive trucks with rougher rides and worse fuel economy. The 2027 F-150 could blur that line in a massive way. Payload capacity is also expected to improve, making the truck more useful for everyday work and real-world hauling. And when you combine higher capability with a lighter-duty ownership experience, that becomes extremely attractive for buyers who need serious performance without stepping all the way into Super Duty territory. Now, visually, Ford is reportedly going all in on a full redesign. The next F-150 is expected to look wider, lower, sharper, and far more aggressive than the current model. Every major body panel is rumored to be reworked. The front end is expected to feature a larger grille, redesigned lighting, and a more planted stance overall. The side profile will reportedly emphasize width and muscular proportions, giving the truck a more commanding road presence. Basically, this thing is supposed to look tough before you even hear it start up. And let's be honest, appearance matters in the truck world. Whether it's pulling onto a job site, backing down a boat ramp, or sitting in a driveway, people notice trucks immediately. Ford knows that, and they clearly want the next F-150 to stand out the second it rolls into view. Inside the cabin, Ford is finally addressing one of the biggest criticisms they've faced for years. Because if we're being real, Ram has dominated interior quality in the half-ton segment for a while now. You climb into a Ram 1500, and everything immediately feels upscale. The materials, the ride quality, the layout, the overall comfort. Even loyal Ford owners admit Ram has had the edge there. Ford apparently understands that. The 2027 F-150 is rumored to receive major interior upgrades across the board, including higher-end materials, redesigned seating, a fully reworked dashboard, and an entirely new infotainment system focused on speed and usability. And honestly, that matters more than ever because truck prices are no joke anymore. When buyers are spending serious money on a full-size pickup, they expect the cabin to actually feel premium, but the ride quality improvements may end up being one of the biggest changes of all, because this is another area where Ford has traditionally lagged behind Ram. Current F-150s are capable trucks, but the ride can feel stiff and unsettled, especially on rough pavement or broken roads. Meanwhile, Ram's coil spring rear suspension has made their trucks feel smoother and more composed for years. Ford is reportedly making major suspension changes for 2027, not just small tuning adjustments, but actual structural improvements designed to dramatically improve comfort and stability. The goal is simple: maintain the capability and toughness people expect from an F-150 while making the truck significantly smoother to live with every single day. And if Ford truly gets that balance right, it could completely reshape the ownership experience. Now here comes the part that almost sounds impossible: the price. Normally, when automakers launch a redesigned generation packed with upgrades, they immediately raise prices. New styling, new tech, new engines. Suddenly, the truck costs $5,000 or $10,000 more overnight. But Ford reportedly wants to avoid that this time. Instead of passing every development cost directly on to buyers, the company is said to be focusing heavily on production efficiency, shared components, and manufacturing consolidation to keep pricing surprisingly close to current models. And if that actually happens, this becomes a huge deal. Because think about what buyers could potentially be getting: a brand new naturally aspirated V8 with racing-inspired engineering, a possible 7.3-liter Godzilla option in a half-ton truck, close to 14,000 pounds of towing capability, a smoother suspension setup, a redesigned premium interior, aggressive new styling, and all without a massive price jump. That's the kind of package that gets people excited again. At the end of the day, Ford isn't just updating the F-150 here. They're trying to remind everyone why the truck became America's best-selling pickup in the first place. Big power, real capability, simple engine options people actually trust, and a driving experience that still feels emotional instead of overcomplicated. If even half of these rumors become reality, the 2027 F-150 could end up being one of the most important truck launches of the decade. And for loyal V8 fans who thought the industry had completely abandoned them, this might be the moment they've been waiting for all along.